All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm June Bea, CEO of Bea Group, and I just wanted to welcome all of you to our deep dive showcase focused on environmental activism. And we're at Bea Group, we've been working closely with the Downey Unified School District for a number of years. This internship is paid for all of the interns. They are juniors who, when they started, and now they are rising seniors. And it is something that is definitely my favorite part of everything that I do is working directly with young people. And so this is made possible through some generous grant funding from our California Department of Education, from the California Community College Chancellor's Office. And we're so fortunate to have folks from Downey Unified School District from the school board here with us. So I'm going to turn it over to Nancy Swenson. Please, Nancy, yes, thanks for being here.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here again. I've been going to some of these the last couple days.
4, 5, 6 years since Jesus showed up. 7.
Oh, we're gonna.
I don't know what that was.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, Nancy.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Anyways, I'm so glad to see so many students here. I know we've been doing this on distance learning. We talked about that a little bit earlier, which is, a change from the first few years that we did this. But I think we have a great participation. I want to thank June and Barella and everybody for all their support. And I'm always blown away by what the students have learned and what they have done. So I'm anxious for this one. So let's get started after John, of course.
Yes, I want to also introduce John Harris, who has been just such an amazing collaborative partner from the school district. So John.
Yeah, my name is John Harris. I'm the Director of College and Career Readiness here at the Downey Unified School District and work closely with partners like June and the Bea Group. So happy to participate or at least witness these showcases that are really celebrations of learning over the last handful of weeks, and all of our students that have participated in these deep dives and sharing with us their projects and all of the different learnings that they have had in these few weeks. Just a couple of really quick thank yous. Brian, thank you so much for guiding this deep dive. Your work with our students will have an impact for a long time in their thinking and in the things that they endeavor to do in the future, long beyond high school, I'm quite sure. And thank you to June and the Bea Group. There's a number of folks from the Bea Group here that work with the Downey Unified School District in making this a possibility in the summer in terms of Work Wonder and the internships. But the biggest thank you really goes to our Board of Education in the district. Without their support and their approval, and quite frankly, their vision for what is possible in learning environments, we would not be able to do this. I've mentioned in a number of other meetings that I know of districts that had internships and they just simply canceled them during the pandemic and during the distance learning phase. But our Board of Education had the vision to move forward, to pivot, and to offer something like this through a distance model. So we are so grateful for that vision and support in moving forward. So I can't wait to see your projects and hear about what you've learned in the last handful of weeks.
So we're so fortunate to we've had 13 deep dives with the Downey Unified School District. And so this one is environmental activism. Our deep dive lead is Brian Delgado. So I want to bring Brian on to share what our interns did for the past 4 weeks. So they had 2 weeks before with Bea Group with onboarding. We had leadership development that was run by Franklin Covey, and we had communication mastery. We've had sessions on social justice in the workplace. And then they moved into these sessions with Brian for the environmental activism deep dive. So hi, Brian. Thanks for being here.
Hi, June.
All that you're doing.
You. Yeah. And apologies for a little bit of the late start. That was on me. But guys, thanks for all being here. I know a few of you had technical difficulties. So over the last 4 weeks, we dove into an environmental activism deep dive that was focused around making media. One of the difficult things is we couldn't do this in person. We couldn't do a lot of field work. So the solution to that was to create media. And it's something that our small, tiny organization, Blue Dot Education, is focused on education, but also one of the arms of that, one of the sort of primary goals is to steward the environment. And so in thinking about the work that students could do to really help lift us up, I landed on making pieces of media, largely from content that we had collected, but also sort of telling the stories that spoke to each individual student. I felt like it was really important for their voices to really come through. And so they had a lot of freedom to choose in this, and I'm super excited and proud of the work that they produced. And a bit of it we're going to be using both to share out to the world and as inspiration for things we might do moving forward. So without further ado, I guess I'm going to introduce Brandon Altamirano, who will be our first presenter today.
Hi, everyone. Like Brian said, my name is Brianna Thermano, and today I will be talking about climate justice and social justice. So let me first share my screen. Okay, so of course, I will be presenting the Blue Dot Education Environment Activism intern presentation regarding climate justice and social justice. So my internship. Now, my internship has very much been amazing. It's been the best experience that I honestly have experienced in my life. This internship has given me so much opportunities. Like, for example, in the beginning of the first 2 weeks, Brian gave us the opportunity to create a random video and just make an article about something that we were passionate about. And just by doing this was honestly amazing. It just got me so much thinking, and it gave me so much creativity on the first week. And I already knew from there it was going to be absolutely amazing. And just by doing these articles and these random videos. So after that week, we started to construct our project. And of course, this was by picking a topic. And I chose to do climate justice and social justice. Now, I chose this topic because it's not talked about really a lot in today's world, and it should be, and because it's very important, and it affects a lot of people. And I just really want people to understand the topic and just to get a real realization of what it means and what it honestly truly means. So I really want people to understand, and that's why I chose to do this topic. And that's why I chose to do a film, because I felt that a film would introduce the idea more better and to give people more of an understanding and just give a visual of it as well. Now, the topic was very interesting for me. It truly gave me so much, it gave me truly so much value in life. I learned so much about people's life and stories and what they have been through regarding not being socially accepted in our society. And it's just other stories that people have been through because of dealing with climate change and dealing with the environmental issues around them, having to deal with that and what it affects them. It's been very amazing to learn their stories and just to honestly feel somewhat of what they're feeling. And I just want their stories to be heard. And it's important that their stories are heard because it affects so much people, it affects them so much. And I just feel that it's not talked about, like I said, and I just want people to realize that it is affecting people, and it's not just an environmental issue; it's also a social issue, and it's affecting more of us, and especially a majority of some of us that get affected by it. Now, my film. So I do first want to say that there was some technical difficulties today where I wasn't able to get my full film, but I was able to get the beginning of it. But hopefully I am able to share my whole video by giving it to Brian, and hopefully he gets to see it. But I only have the beginning of it, but hopefully it just gives you an idea of what I'm going at. So let's get started. So. Life is mysterious. We live life not knowing what's going to happen every day. We make decisions that could lead to good or bad things. We make decisions that could change our life or the environment around us. But that's what makes life exciting, not knowing what's going to happen next, right? Or could it actually be more damaging than good? People in this life that don't care about the decisions that they make could result in a catastrophe. And that could affect not just themselves, but the people around them or the environment around them. So some people might find this exciting about life, but it's also what makes life very dangerous and scary. Hi, my name is Brianna Thermano, and you might be wondering, what is this whole film about? Or you might be wondering, what is this crazy person doing on my screen? Well, hopefully you asked the first one and not the second one. But either way, I'm glad that you asked, because today I want to have a conversation about what climate justice and social justice means, and why is it so important in today's world. So let's get started and have some fun. So the question is, what is climate justice and social justice? Well, first, let's get a better understanding of the term climate justice and social justice. Now, the term climate justice is the form of environmental justice. Climate justice is the fair treatment of all people and the freedom from discrimination in the creation of policies and projects that address climate change, as well as a system that creates climate change and that perpetuates discrimination. In other words, climate justice focuses on local impacts and experiences. Now, the term social justice is basically a term that aims to ensure fair treatment of individuals and groups. This can go as far as challenging issues around the community or the environment, because remember, social justice issues will resolve around structures or human actions within society that results in people being treated unfairly or unjustifiably. Now, addressing social justice issues could mean working against discrimination, reducing effects of climate change on communities, ensuring workers are valued and treated fairly, challenging unjust government policies that contribute to oppression of some people in a society, ensuring the powerful don't abuse their power, promoting peace instead of violence, ensuring men, women, and children are able to flourish, preventing corruption, and promoting transparency and accountability. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that this is a lot of information, and to be honest, it was a little too much for me too. But trust me, having the background information first will give you a better understanding of it all. So there is more, of course, to it, and of course, I will get more into it with Brian. But that is the beginning of my video, and you know, of course, you would get a more better understanding of what it truly means when getting the full video of it. But of course, I wasn't necessary. Like I said, I had some technical difficulties, but that was the beginning of it. So I don't know what happened to my presentation. So what I've learned and how I grew in this internship. So I learned how to advocate for the environment. I learned to make an educational film. I learned so much about climate justice and social justice and its relationship to the environment. I also learned a lot about people's stories regarding climate justice and social justice. Now, I did, of course, learn a lot about a lot of things during this internship. But one of the things that I honestly will always cherish from learning this from this internship was learning how to be an ambitious person. This internship has truly shown me how to use my voice as how to use my voice to advocate job for others, but for others and just for the environment. I learned that my voice could be as strong as anyone else's voices. And, you know, being a student that was very quiet and very shy, I was always taught that my voice was not valid for anyone. But truly, this internship has honestly given me so much confidence that I want to show my opinion. I want to show that my voice does matter, that my voice does have an impact on people. And I want to show that more for people. And I can't wait for the future where I can finally use my voice to not just help myself, but help others. And I'm really excited about that. So the next thing is the challenges that I faced. Now, there was a lot of challenges that I have faced during this week. And of course, your typical challenges like procrastination, stress, and just many like typical challenges. But the main things that I have truly challenged this week was my mental health. Um, I was not just doing this internship, I was also doing other internships and programs. I wanted to be as active as I can, which very much had an impact on my mental health. I suffer from depression and anxiety and many other problems. And these couple of weeks have been very hard on my mental health. And it's been very hard to the point where I have had a lot of mental breakdowns. But, you know, life is honestly, it's not perfect. It's hard. It's very stressful. But honestly, during these weeks, I might have been through so much challenge. I might have faced so many challenges, but it's honestly made me grow as a person. And because of that, I've been able to move forward and just become myself. And just these challenges have honestly truly taught me a lot. And I might still have a little bit more issues when I go as time goes by, but that's okay because life, like I said, is not perfect. And I know that I'm going to get through it. I know that I am a fighter, that I can fight for myself, and I know that I can fight for others. So these challenges are just little bumps on the road, and I can't wait to keep moving forward. So what's next? Now, thinking about this question is kind of hard because, like I said, life is mysterious. There really isn't any predictions that you can make on what life can give you. But honestly, life is interesting for me. It gives me so many opportunities that I never knew that I could, especially like this internship. I never knew that I would even be able to do this internship, and it gave me the opportunity. And I mean, I was given this opportunity to do this internship. So I know that yes, life might be mysterious, life might be unpredictable, but we are capable of doing anything, really. We are capable of doing absolutely the things that we want. It's up to us to wanting to what we want to do. So it's really up to what we want next. And so regarding my topic, climate justice and social justice, we have the opportunity to make a difference. We have the opportunity to make a change in this world. And we truly need to make a change in this world. And we might, like I said, it could be sometimes scary. Sometimes it could be very unpredictable, but as if we work together and use our voices together, we can advocate for not just the environment, but people around us. And it's important that we keep advocating for everyone because we're supposed to be helping each other, not going against each other. And so that's what I want to plan for next. I want to show people that they can use their voices to help so many others. And that's honestly what I want from next and for my future. And I can't wait to show this for so many people. And yeah. And that's the end of my presentation. And thank you guys so much for listening. And I'm open to any questions.
I think we're gonna go questions at the end, so we can just do the run through, Brandon, if that's all right.
Of course.
Is that how we've normally done it, June? Is that? Yeah. Because I want to make sure everybody has the chance. So if you want to hit, okay, great, thanks. And so next up is going to be Jolie Flores.
Okay, yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, can everyone see that? Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Jolie Flores. I am 17 years old and I am an incoming senior at Downey High School. This is my Blue Dot Education Environmental Activism presentation. So I'm gonna share the link to my work at the end so you guys can all take a look at it on your own. But right now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my intern experience. So during the course of this internship, I went through a process that Brian led me through in order to complete my project and presentation. The process started off on a fairly broad scope and consistently narrowed down in order to help us decide what we wanted to do our projects on. So during the first week, we did some tasks like doing a practice film or practice articles to kind of get a feel for what our options were for our projects, as well as what topics there were for us to decide on. So I decided to do my project. I chose to do an article on overfishing and its effects on the environment. Can you all see that? Okay. So I broke down my article into 5 different sections. There's an introduction, and then I focused on 3 negative article, 3 negative subtopics, I'm sorry, that overfishing has on the environment. So I have ecosystems, bycatch, and netting pollution, as well as a quick little conclusion on how you can help. So that is pretty much what my article looks like. And once again, I'm going to share the link later on so you guys can take a look at it on your own. But now I'm going to share a little bit about what I learned and how I grew. So during the process of this internship, I learned how to receive constructive criticism. Well, to be honest, I don't think I've ever received as much criticism on one project than I have during this internship. And it was from multiple people as well. So at first it was hard because you feel like your work, there's always something you can work on. But I had to like take that and use it in a positive way, not let it affect me negatively to make my work as amazing as I could. And something that came easy for me was time management. Not only did we have like a reasonable amount of time to get our work turned in, but that's just already a strength I had coming into this internship. And a way that I grew was expanding my mindset on what environmental activism is. So coming in, I mean, I think something that we've all heard of is, reduce, reuse, recycle. And that's kind of what I thought environmental activism was. But now I know that it's not only about taking action, but having the knowledge to teach other people as well. A few challenges that I faced during this internship was the first practice film that we did during the first week that I mentioned earlier. I think that's honestly the most I've ever procrastinated on a project before. But it's funny because he gave us so much we had like creative freedom. And the only requirement we had for this film, it was like a 45-second film, was to have an image or video of water in it. And like, I think I got it turned in like at 10 o'clock at night. Like I was procrastinating so hard and I honestly don't know why. And I'm in an environmental activism internship and I chose to do the film on my dog. So that was a little difficult for me. A couple of other challenges I had was adding my signature and personality to my article, as well as making my work seem original, because obviously multiple people have already done articles and films on overfishing before. So I kind of struggled, especially because I was doing an article. You can add so much flair to films. So I had like struggles with how to make it interesting and have like a little bit of myself included in the article. So what's next for me after this internship is saving the world. It seems like a really bold goal, but I feel like if I implement a more environmentally friendly lifestyle, we can totally do it. Like not just me, but all of us. So a few things that I've already spoken to my family about and we plan on implementing into our lives is cutting down on food waste. So, I mean, I think we all have, Sam's, Costco membership cards. So we're going to try our best to just, go maybe every day or every other day to get what we need for that day to cut down on food waste. And another thing that we are going to be trying to do is not only for the environment, but for our health as well, is using like our bicycles or scooters to go short distances other than using the cars because we drive an SUV, using reusable bags rather than plastic bags when we go out shopping, and just little things like that are what we plan on implementing into our lives. I think it would be great if we could all do that as well, because I think it would really help in the end. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you. And questions at the end, right?
Great.
Sorry. Next presenting will be Michelle Alcostia.
So I want to start off by saying good morning, everyone. Hello, my name is Michelle Alcostia. I'm going to be heading to my senior year at Warren High School, and I'm here today to present to you my environmental activism intern presentation. So I want to start by saying I'm really glad I got this opportunity and internship because I learned so many things off of it. Because I did a short film, I learned a lot of skills in filmmaking and editing. So that was entirely new for me, but I loved the challenge, and I definitely can say I'm a decent at taking videos and photography. I wrote a script for my short film as well, so I'm kind of a writer now. We'll see how that goes. I educated myself off to the side on some techniques to make my film more cinematic. So let's play my short film.
We can't hear the audio.
Michelle, if you'd like, you can stop and I can share on my end because I have it, I think. So if you want to stop sharing, yeah, I can. Let's see. Boom. And actually, I want to make sure I'm sharing with the audio optimized. Cool.
With the rising impact of social media users and influence in young teens, we begin to notice the impact it has left on future generations. Teens are using their own platforms to speak and raise awareness for key issues, like climate change. Let's look deeper into the ways social media can make a difference in teen activism, starting with Greta Thunberg.
Dear Ursula von der Leyen and Franz Timmermans, the following days you will take some crucial decisions. Among those are about the Renewable Energy Directive.
These decisions risks to be a death sentence to the climate, biodiversity, and many local communities.
I'm standing in one of the last remaining old-growth forests in Europe. Behind me is a clear-cut forest in northern Sweden.
This is currently considered climate neutral, environmentally friendly, sustainable, and renewable. This doesn't look sustainable to me.
Greta's social media posts and videos have educated and inspired teens to follow in her footsteps. There has been a rise in social media accounts following teen activism. They have used their platforms to speak about personal causes they believe in. As teens try to navigate the world around them and be exposed to some of the world's most challenging aspects of life, we can use social media to raise awareness and educate younger audiences. The truth is, we can stop climate change, but we can't do it alone. We must come together and truly understand one another to achieve our goals we want to see in the world. To see a better environment for our future generations, we need to start and ask ourselves, what can I do? And with the help of modern technology, we can see a difference.
So what I learned and how I grew. Since this internship was very fast-paced, I learned how to manage my time very quickly, and I gained a lot of good habits off of that. I learned some editing softwares and filmmaking skills and tips, and I can say now that I've definitely got out of my comfort zone and I learned how to work with different programs as well. So it helped challenge me in that aspect of working with so many different programs. What challenged me the most was procrastination. I could definitely say I'm a procrastinator. I'm the one person on the Google Docs till 11:59 trying to get it in. But with this internship, I could not procrastinate at all. So definitely challenged me in that aspect, but I gained some good habits off of that. So now I have an agenda and I write down everything, what I need to do, and the deadline for it. Setting yourself up for success. I love this saying. I live by it because you have to be prepared when we face in any situation. So I really live by that. So what's next for me? I want to continue to finding more internship opportunities, and I found a new passion of mine, which is filmmaking. I really loved expressing my creativity through film or any type of artwork, like writing an article or taking good photos and capturing the good image. I just want to say big thank you to Brian and the Bea group. So thank you so much.
And I gotta say, Michelle, like all weekend we've been going back and forth. She's worked on that film so much. So to see the improvement in it has been super impressive. And let's see, Ariela Robinson, you're up.
Hi, I'm Ariela Robinson. I'm going to be a senior at Downey High School this coming school year, and this is my environmental activism intern presentation. During my environmental activism internship, I spent my time researching food justice. I became familiar with the problems and the way it negatively affects certain groups of people. Here's my article. Yeah. So basically, let me just phrase it up real quick. Food justice is to work towards so that healthy food is a human right and not something you have to kind of work for, something that's something you can just get. There are a lot of food deserts where it's more fast food companies that are kind of targeted towards certain communities, like low income communities or minority communities, which I don't really think is fair because we have a lot of other problems, and I don't think having healthy food should be added to that list. So I just chose this topic because I think we should work towards, because a lot of people don't know about it, and we should work towards fixing this so that we just have good food and it doesn't affect us physically in a bad way. What I learned, and how I grew. What came easy was a passion. I loved talking about racial and economic justice, and it's kind of just tied in with it. So there was no lack of inspiration at all. What I learned the basics of editing films. Although I didn't make a film, I can still do it if I want to now because I know how. I know how extremely important good researching is. I did a lot of researching. I kept going back between multiple articles just to see if my information was correct because a lot of things contradict each other. I know that criticism isn't a bad thing. Usually, to me, it would be because it says I'm not working hard enough. But now I know that they're just trying to help and make me better in what I'm doing. What challenged me? Time management and not procrastinating. I'm very bad at that. I tend to lose focus because I don't always have a quiet place to work in because I have a big family, a small house, and just everyone's all over each other. So this time I kind of went to my aunt's house, a quiet place to work, and I can really focus, and it made my article way better, I think. What's next? I really hope to continue my social justice aspect, and no matter what, I do something to do with that. I'm very passionate about that. A lot of my social media is based on that, and I just want to keep living my dream basically and helping people, no matter if it's just one person or a group of them. And that's all. Thank you for listening. Next we have Alan with the green architecture.
Hello, my name is Alan Vermejo, and I'm a senior at Warren High, and I'm here with Blue Dot to present what I did for my environmental activism deep dive. So, in this internship, we were tasked with researching and a multitude of basically different topics about the environment that either goes from tree pollution, our trees, or even just our oceans. And we were given multiple ways to create that through media, such as essays, films, articles, and the likes. And knowing that, I decided to push myself to do 2 articles on green civil engineering or green architecture. If it's fine, I could upload the PDF on the Zoom chat after this. So these two, I decided to do 2 articles again, and this first article was about basically what we're doing currently wrong and how the normals of our buildings are practically killing the environment. The material, the design, the deconstruction of buildings, I wanted to talk about how it's unsustainable and how we could easily do better. And that leads right into my next article, which talks about exactly how we could do better, whether that is finding new material, finding better ways to incorporate greener design into our architecture, and basically by looking for government provided incentives that allow people to possibly think more about green design. I wanted this article to show that we could easily do more. We have it at our fingertips. We just don't act actually on it. And so what I learned about this was that time management and communication are key. By sharing my work and presenting it to other people before like actually presenting it, it could help me find my shortcomings and what I did wrong. And that again, that time really is the key to anything. I figured that out firsthand through this whole process because I actually did a lot of procrastinating, which was a huge problem. And I also realized that not only is there a problem with the buildings we have now, there's so much more we could talk about in our environment and our future. So again, back to challenges. I don't usually write articles, so it was something I wasn't used to. And again, formatting those articles was very interesting because I was like, oh, what if it looks weird and what if it goes off wrong? And so that's one thing. Properly managing my time and my motivation. I got distracted easily. I got motivated on other things that weren't this deep dive, which was a huge problem because, of course, I have to focus on this. And again, I didn't really, for some reason, even though this really was work, I didn't. I guess my brain didn't like see it as work, but I really should have. And yeah, what comes after? Well, I want to get these articles out. I want to make sure that people become more aware of our environment, and researching these articles have made me realize there's so much more I could do other than just sitting around. And yeah, that's one thing. And another is that time is everything. And to begin, I have to begin working towards myself to make myself more time efficient and to make myself better. And one main thing is that should allow criticism. I used to just get hurt and blindly ignore it, but by seeing what we could do just by communicating made me change my views. And thank you. Even though we don't have questions, I'd like to turn it over to our next presenter, who is Karen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Gutierrez. I'm 17 years old, and I go to Warren High School, so I'm gonna be an incoming senior this year, class of 2022. And this is my presentation for environmental activism. And I'm gonna go ahead and share. During the internship, I spent most of my time informing myself about tree health in California through many articles I found on the internet, as well as trying to collect footage for my video and edit it to the best of my ability. During the internship, I had fun speaking and editing a video about a topic I'm very passionate about, which is tree health in California, so I'm really grateful I had this opportunity, and I hope for my video to make an impact. My biggest lesson from working on this project was stepping out of my comfort zone and giving it my best like I did with this video, taking these new abilities and owning them as I continue to accomplish more and more throughout my career. And so Brian will start playing my video. And I'll stop.
Okay. Let me get this.
In our daily life, trees are a continuous presence, beautiful and tall, Trees have provided humans with shelter and food for thousands of years, and regrettably, they are being phased out due to climate change, and so future generations must understand the importance of trees and why they're required. And so you may ask yourself, why are trees important? Well, have you ever experienced that air feels so much fresher when surrounded by trees? That cool, gentle breeze going through your lungs? Well, that's because trees filter our air, getting rid of polluted air, helping us and our health in numerous ways. Trees are very important and necessary for our world to prosper, and I truly believe that. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always admired trees and the change that they would make in the world for the better. The environment benefits from trees because they provide oxygen, improve air quality, reduce climate change, conserve water, preserve oil, and provide wildlife habitat. We need trees to survive. Climate change increases the likelihood of drought in some areas. Many trees are drought resistant to some extent. Rising temperatures may make future droughts more severe than those experienced in the past. Climate change has caused an estimated 129 million trees to die in California National Forest since 2010. As a result of climate change, the way trees and forests function is changing. Although some consequences may be positive, the vast majority are negative and will remain so unless we alter our life into decreasing the cause of climate change. So what are these alterations we can make? Well, we as humans have the greatest power of all. We have the power to control our carbon footprints. So here's what you can do. Build a garden because it's a good source of nutrients for your plants, so you won't have to use chemical fertilizers. Buy local. Reducing food miles helps to minimize our reliance on fossil fuels, air pollution, and greenhouse gases. Eat your leftovers so you can reduce food waste. Learn how to recycle efficiently. It reduces greenhouse gas emissions. These are things that alter daily life. These alterations may be difficult, but think of why you're doing it in the first place. Think of how many trees we can preserve and save, and we'll be able to enjoy them longer and appreciate them more. Trees are here to help us, so why not help them too? In our daily life,
Okay, I'll start sharing again.
Yep, and make sure you click on that present button in the corner, Karen.
So what I learned and how I grew, I learned how to manage my time effectively by setting reminders on when to work on things so I wouldn't procrastinate. And I have my agenda set for doing that, so I managed to do that well during my project and during this internship. I learned that working with the group or like having people to rely on was really reassuring because I'm usually one to work alone, so this was very new. And just having people there doing the same thing as me was really reassuring and nice to have. Um, I learned I had many editing skills up my sleeve. So I've had a few experiences with editing before, but not as much. So I learned a lot through working with new programs. So that was really fun experience to learn. What came easy for me, the topic came very easily. I knew I wanted to do something about trees like right away. So because it's something I'm really passionate about. So that came really natural to me. Editing as well was pretty easy since I've said before, like I've had editing experience before, so this was new, but I also learned some new tricks by using a new program. Getting along with everyone was really easy as well because everybody was so supportive and nice, so that was not hard at all, and I'm really glad to work with everyone. Some challenges I faced were stepping out of my comfort zone because I'm very shy. And this is all new. Like I don't normally like talk to people I've never talked to before, so this is all new. But I'm really glad I did because I got to speak with some really kind and supportive people, getting their feedback, and it was really nice to have. And finding inspiration was also a challenge I faced. I knew what message I wanted to get across, but I didn't know how to like do that through a video. But I found some inspiration like from footage, online videos, and I mixed that all together to create my video. Another one was finding footage because at first, I didn't want to get my footage from online because I wanted a more authentic feel. So I'm really fortunate that Brian was kind enough to lend us like everyone with footage. So all of my footage you see and pictures are from him. So I'm really grateful for that. What's next for me? From now on, I'd like to rely on others. So relying on others will be a very important step, and I won't have to stress about doing things alone anymore because I could just ask others for help. I'll also be more confident in things I get involved in. For future projects, I'll prosper even more if I become more confident and proud of my work, which this project has shown me to be. Also, being more involved in my community, finding little things I can do just to make the world a better place. Being involved in my community will be my focus, no matter how small it is. And thank you for listening. Any questions? Any questions at the end, right? So next up is Jacob.
As Karen just said, hello, my name is Jacob Mejia. I'm a senior at Warren High School, and today I'm going to be presenting about my internship experience at the Beja Group. So the first thing I want to talk about are the projects that I've worked on this year. So the first project we worked on was a mini article. Brian said it could really be about anything as long as it included the environment. And so what I chose to write about was roller skating and the environment and environmentally friendly roller skating brands. I think it was really important for me to make my work about things that I enjoyed. So I managed to combine roller skating and the environment, which are two things that I absolutely adore, and make it into one article. And so, yeah, that was the mini article that I worked on. I also worked on a short film, and that was also about roller skating, but rather about it was more about roller skating and its connection with me rather than its connection with the environment. Brian said it could be about anything as long as it included a scene with water in it, and so I managed to do that, and I really enjoyed that too because, like I said, I managed to make my film or make it about something that I love. So, yeah. And my final project was also a film about roller skating, but rather than about me, it was about roller skating and its connection to the environment and how just this current state of Earth is in has really affected many different communities of animals and people, and including me as a roller skater, and just many large communities of different people. And so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen right now so Brian can share that because we did a run through and last time I wouldn't play the full video. So.
In a dying world, roller skating has been my paradise. It is one of the very few consistent pleasures in my life that brings me joy, as it has allowed me to forget for just a moment all of my problems. In a world of burning forests, flaming oceans, and smog-filled skies, the beautiful environment I had the pleasure of skating in will soon be gone. Roller skating in an environment like that is unthinkable. The community I have found my place in, along with the beautiful landscapes of this earth, will be destroyed. Without a community to belong to, where will I find peace? Dirty, trash-filled streets. The pounds upon pounds of waste scattered across the streets pollute the natural environment of skaters, and eventually make their way into the ocean where they will pollute the natural homes of aquatic creatures. The diverse ecosystems of our oceans will soon be polluted by our carelessness, which is physically represented by the garbage floating throughout the ocean. How in a world of trashed oceans and foggy skies are we supposed to find happiness, inspiration, peace, or even live at all? For me, skating has been my paradise in this dying world. However, Skating has given me hope that we can take back the paradise that our Earth once was. Roller skating is truly beautiful in its nature by the fact that it is such an enjoyable activity and that it brings no harm to the Earth and that it also has many benefits to the person skating. So for the sake of me, for the sake of other skaters, for the sake of animals, for the sake of the environment, for the sake of everyone and everything, please, please strive for change. Hold big corporations responsible for the damage they have done to the Earth and to many different communities. Make small changes in your life that won't make a difference with you just alone. However, with other people making these same small changes, our Earth will experience huge positive change. Making these changes in your life will be just like skating. It will be fun, it will benefit us, and most importantly, it has the incredible potential to save our Earth. There is hope. There is hope for us, there's hope for the environment, there's hope for Earth. So please, please strive for a cleaner Earth. So yeah, that was the film that I worked on. I really enjoyed it a lot once I got started on it. It was a lot of fun filming because obviously I was skating a lot, so yeah. And so the next thing I want to talk about are the skills that I've learned during this internship. I've learned some general and specific skills. Generally speaking, I've learned how to work on a tight schedule. I've managed to get in touch with my creative side, and I've also learned to make my work about the things that I love. And so at first, working on a tight schedule was really difficult because Brian made us do our article and our short film in one day for both of them. And so I wasn't really used to working that fast, but I managed to get them done, and it showed me that I could really do quality work in such a short amount of time. And so, yeah. I also managed to get in touch with my creative side. So for my film, I had to find ways to not make it boring so that the watchers stayed engaged. And so obviously it was fun trying to get different shots and trying to record different things. So yeah. I also managed to make all my projects about roller skating and the environment, and I managed to just combine two things that I absolutely adore and just make all my projects about them. So I think it's really important that you do things that you enjoy your entire life, because you don't want to be spending your entire life doing things that you absolutely hate or that things that you don't enjoy doing. And so I also want to talk about specific skills that I've learned. I've learned how to use editing softwares like Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Premiere. Brian dedicated a few days to those to teach us how to use those. And those are two important applications that are used by pros around the world. And I think that's something that was really important that he taught us how to use, because we could use it for the future. And so we also managed to improve our writing skills for my film script, and for my mini article. I needed to elevate my writing onto a new level. And so after a few revisions of my article, after sending it, or of my script, after sending it to Brian, he managed to give me some tips on how to fix it. And so once I did that, I was good to go. He also helped us improve our filming and photography skills. For me, I needed to improve my filming skills for both of my films. And so Brian also showed us how to take better shots and just how to get capture better video. And so that was really good as well. Some personal challenges I faced were creativity, inspiration, and anxiety. So creativity wise, at first, I did not know where I wanted to go with my project. It was really difficult for me to figure out what I wanted to do, because I wanted to enjoy this project, and so I wanted to do something that I was really interested in. Once I realized that I could make it about roller skating as well as the environment, things were smooth sailing from there, and I got started on my work pretty quickly. I also dealt with a lot of issues with inspiration, because there was times where I would get stuck thinking of my project and I just wouldn't want to continue working on it rather than actually working on it. And so I just wasted a lot of time just constantly thinking my film rather than working on it, that I just was done overthinking, and I got started working my project. And once I got started working on it, things went pretty smooth from there. I also deal with anxiety. I'm not even kidding you, before it was my turn to present, my heart was beating like crazy and I was shaking. I was so nervous, but once I get into the flow of things, I feel a lot better. And so
oh yeah, it was really tough for me to, just coming up to the showcase day. I was overthinking a lot. I could like barely enjoy anything I was doing because I was thinking about this day, and I was thinking that it was gonna be terrible. But here I am now, and it's just I'm out here doing it. So yeah. For future plans, next year after this internship, I plan on getting a job. This internship is going to be really great for getting a job because it's going to show that I have work experience and I can put that on my resume. And overall, this internship is something that I don't regret and that I'm really glad that I chose to do. While I'm in college, I plan on studying conservation biology. It's something where you essentially go out to different ecosystems and environments and you help solve issues within them, whether it's with like overpopulation or certain species, certain animal species are like their populations are plummeting, and you just help mediate those issues. And I think it's just something that's really great because it's really good restorative work, and it's something that you actually get to go out to different places and do rather than sitting in an office all day doing office work. So that's something that's really excites me. I also am interested in doing environmental cleanup programs. I don't know how to get started on that, but I know that Brian has a lot of connections and I can probably ask him on how to get me started. And I'm sure that I can look into that. So I'm really excited to getting started on that.
This is Sarum. I'll throw a link into the chat. If you're in LA, you can help out.
Okay, thank you, Sarum. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I just want to give a special thanks to Brian, Blue Dot Education, and the Mejia group for this internship opportunity. It was really enjoyable, and I don't regret doing it at all. Obviously, I would ask if you had any questions, but we're going to do it later on. So next next presenting is Vanessa Galindo. Thank you for watching.
Hold up, I'm kind of having technical difficulties.
Are the slides not working? Oh, there they go.
Yeah, there they go. All right, so hey guys, my name is Vanessa Galindo and I'm a senior at Downey. And like everyone else here, I'm an environmental activism intern. Hold up. Okay, so the environmental activism deep dive was my first choice. I'm really passionate about these issues. Like this is the thing I want to get into. And I do truly care about these issues. And during this internship, I learned lots of valuable skills, and I was managed to produce some media. I wrote 3 articles on air pollution, environmental activism, corporate responsibility, and sustainable production. My goal for these articles was to shift responsibility from the working class onto companies who do more polluting. I'm sorry.
Vanessa, sometimes if the Wi-Fi is bad, yeah, you can have a difficult time. If you want me to share the slides, you can put the link in the chat and I can share them. Or maybe she froze.
So how I grew. I learned a lot during my research. I learned about a lot of causes of air pollution, so much that I had to write the articles. I was originally planning to write 1, so I had to split it up. And I learned how to navigate Adobe Cloud, including Photoshop, Lightroom, and InDesign. I learned how to harness my creativity more efficiently in the design and layout of my articles. And I improved my time management skills a lot. I was procrastinating a lot at first, but I managed to keep up. And I learned during this internship that I really can make a difference to make a world a better place. What came easy to me was choosing my topic. it was really personal to me because it started off with my dad. Since he's a truck driver, he works hard. He works every day, including weekdays, to support 6 of us, 7 if you include my dog. And he has to buy a new truck because a more fuel efficient truck to reduce air pollution. So I started questioning why he is more responsible than the corporations who, who produce more, who pollute more. So I just wanted to bring that to light. And which led me to this project. So what also came easy was using InDesign and formatting my articles. I found that really fun. Okay, so here you can see my dad and my sister. Okay, so what challenged me a lot was my mindset change from going to doing homework to real actual work. And it was difficult for me because I couldn't capture that I was actually being paid for this. So it was a process. Also, writing the article was quite difficult for me because I'm used to writing long research reports, like 2,000, 1,000 words long. So it was hard to write informative articles. I haven't done something like that since middle school. Also, like I said, time management. I procrastinated a lot at first. Also, the research itself was difficult because it was hard to find reliable resources. Also, lots of sources conflicted with each other. So what's next? All right, so I plan to attend a UC. I'm getting there. And I want to work on wildlife conservation, specifically like wildlife or marine biology. I really like the mangroves. And maybe get into some agriculture. Like my favorite agriculture system is the Chinampas, the Aztec systems. And I want to work on restoring that. And I might sound naive right now, but I just want to build a more sustainable future where we can coexist with nature. And I just want to make a difference. I really care about these issues and I just want a better world for everybody. Thank you. And up next, we have Daniel.
So, good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Menendez. I go to Warren High School. Let me get my screen shared. Okay, so this is my environmental activism presentation. During my internship, I got to spend time filming and capturing photos in Yosemite National Park to make a short film dedicated to the history of Yosemite, why national parks are important, and also bear safety. So I'll be showing my video right now. And Brian, if there's any issues, please let me know. You can text me and you could share it then. But this is my film then. Yosemite National Park, located in the western slopes of the Central Sierra Nevada mountain range, has attracted millions of tourists every year, including me and my family. As a matter of fact, we've been going to the park for 16 years. The beauty of Yosemite has left me and my family returning year after year to the park to enjoy Yosemite's spectacular views. But it's not just us. Yosemite's towering waterfalls, granite mountains, and giant sequoias have left many generations of people in awe and amazement, and for good reason. Yosemite encompasses 447,956 acres of protected land, of which 94% is designated wilderness, which is free from human development and roads. This amount of land supports a huge amount of biodiversity, plants and animals to thrive in without human development getting in the way. Yosemite was originally protected in 1864 when President Abraham Lincoln signed a Yosemite Grant, which protected Yosemite Valley and the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias. It wasn't until 1890 by an act of Congress that Yosemite was established as the nation's third national park, thanks in part to the environmentalist and notable John Muir. On a normal year, Yosemite receives typically 4 million visitors. Last year in 2020, 237 million people visited parks in a national park system. So what makes people visit national parks in the first place? Well, first off, national parks serve as an educational opportunity for people to learn about the wildlife, plants, trees, mountain formations, culture, and history while being in the park itself.
National parks also offer a multitude of activities people can do, from camping to hiking to swimming to kayaking to rock climbing and photography. National parks are also some of the best places to contemplate the night sky, as they typically don't have major cities located near them. This allows park visitors and amateur astronomers to enjoy the night sky without interference from the city lights. National parks also benefit not only the local economy, but also the national economy. According to a National Park Service report, it showed that out of the 318 million people who visited national parks, they spent $20.2 billion. This spending supported 329,000 jobs nationally, of which 268,000 of these jobs were located in gateway communities of national parks. The cumulative benefit to U.S. economy from national parks was $40.1 billion. However, something caught my attention while we were camping this year. We managed to see two bears, and in both cases, both bears were eating human food. One even visited our campsite. I have enjoyed and watched deer, as well as wild turkeys, squirrels, and all kinds of birds, but we have never seen a single bear until this year. I began to wonder why this year, and thought maybe that the drought had to do something with the encounters. I was later proven correct when a park ranger confirmed my suspicion. Bears are currently being put in a tough situation. The drought is making their natural food sources such as fruits, nuts, berries, and plants scarcer, so they begin to rely more on human food, which then increases bear-human encounters and the possibility of human and bear death. Bears are very intelligent animals with a great sense of smell, and they migrate in search for food. Bears begin to associate people with food and begin to lose their fear of humans, and may become aggressive towards people, which then increases the chance that a bear may attack a human, which then may result in the bear being euthanized for public safety. This brings a question: what do you do when you have a bear encounter? There are a few general rules to follow. The first is do not run, stand your ground. Because if you do run, the bear might consider you as prey. To scare the bear away, make as much noise as possible, and raise your arms as high as possible to make yourself look big. Move away slowly and sideways, and never give your back to the bear. When venturing out into bear country, always carry bear spray and an air horn. This is also why traveling in groups is preferable. In addition, to mitigate bear encounters in the first place, you want to properly store your food in the food locker, or if out backpacking, use a bear-resistant container, and place them 100 feet or more away from your campsite. Also, do not underestimate a bear's sense of smell. It is estimated that the sense of smell of a bear is 7 times greater than a bloodhound and over 2,000 times greater than a human. Different sources claim different distances that a bear can smell, but it's generally between 1 and 20 miles. Knowing this, do not rub your hands on the clothes that you use to prepare and eat your food with, and also don't sleep in the clothes that you cook with, and store those clothes away in another area that is not your sleeping tent. Furthermore, do not store food or other items that have a high scent in the tent that you sleep in, and also wash your dishes immediately. Bear encounters are rare, and bear attacks are even rarer, but they still occur, so being bear aware increases your chance of having a positive encounter with a bear. In conclusion, spending time in a natural environment has become very popular in recent years, particularly when visiting a national park, as people are trying to reconnect with nature more than ever. Spending time outdoors clearly outweighs the dangers people may encounter while enjoying the natural wonders that our planet has to offer. Bear encounters are extremely rare and are unique. Following some basic guidelines such as storing your food properly and carrying bear spray will make your experience in bear country more enjoyable and something to cherish for many years to come. So what I learned and how I grew, that communication is key. Also how to take, I learned also by Brian how to like take good photos / videos. I also gained an appreciation for films, especially just how complex they could be, the importance of national parks, and then also the history of Yosemite. But my biggest takeaway from this project was again how complex films can be. What challenged me was how taking photos / videos that flows with the rest of the film, and also creating the voiceover was kind of difficult. What's next? Going camping every year has inspired me to go possibly pursue a career that's associated with the environment, like the National Park Service. So that's something I'm considering doing in the future. But that's it. Next up is Brian, who will be sharing a video of Caroline's work.
Yeah, so Caroline Salas could not make it, but we recorded her presentation last night. She's currently doing a volleyball program that goes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and she met me at 10 last night to record the presentation quickly. So I'll just share that.
So I chose environmental activism for my deep dive. That was just like, it stood out to me the most, like right away, because this is like my favorite kind of topic. So I feel like this internship was really important and a really good learning experience for me, and a really great opportunity, because not only was I learning a lot, and I like learned how to get my voice out there, and we learned about you know, how to go through interview processes and applications and a lot of different things. But I feel like it was just a really good experience to have, and it'll be another like thing to be proud of that I did and put on my resume. I like that we discussed different issues, and I learned a lot about the topics that we were working on, like how I got to make a short film about light pollution, and also I enjoyed making an article about hummingbirds. I think it was really interesting to learn about something that you might not think about, and you learn more about it and how important it really is to our environment. It just shows even the smallest things are really, really impactful. And these are some of the things that I learned from this, especially in the beginning when we went through the lectures about communication skills and leadership skills was definitely like one of my favorites. I think that's really a really important thing to learn right now. And I'm definitely a natural leader. I think my dog might start barking. I'm definitely a natural leader, and like in band right now, I'm trying to work my way up to leadership, and also even though I'm a social person, it still helps to learn social skills that definitely are going to help me. I feel like they've already started to help me. And these are some of the things that challenged me. I think the number one thing was making a film, and 2 films, because that's very much out of my comfort zone. But even for this project, we were given like open-ended, you can do it how you want to. I chose a short film, that way I can step out of my comfort zone, because I think it'll definitely help me later on. I don't want to just stay in this little bubble. And also time management and prioritization is like a thing that I can struggle with sometimes. So I think it's really important for me to be challenged with this kind of stuff. And for me, I'm hoping my dream job is to be a dermatologist. That's like definitely like, that's my dream job. It's something that I'm interested in. I'm very interested in skincare and also like the medical side of it. And also I could see it as a sustainable like job, and it would definitely support me and a family. And I'm hoping with what I've learned from this internship that I can expand my knowledge to other people, and also it definitely has made me want to learn even more. And I feel like I could make a difference, and I think it would be pretty awesome. And then
Okay, and that concludes the presentation. I'll throw a link to her film in the chat. She was not able to actually get down to Downey and get the computer that had the Adobe on it, so she had to use her own sort of she got creative and found ways to edit and put together a film anyway. Even though she's a self-described like technophobe, she did that, so I was pretty proud of her. And I guess now we have like 14, 15 minutes to do some Q&A with the interns.
Yes.
I had a question with reference to the blue dot reference at each of the title pages. My mind started trying to figure out what the blue dot reference was, and I thought of Carl Sagan, the astronomer, referring to the Earth as a blue dot, and also thought of a coffee shop up in the Bay Area. I was wondering if one of the interns can explain or elaborate a little bit more on the blue dot reference.
I'm pretty sure Brian he pulled from that how we're kind of like this pale blue dot in space, and what you said about Carl Sagan, that I'm pretty sure that was where it was pulled from exactly. Yeah.
Are there other questions? If not, I have one. So I'm curious for the interns, what surprised you about you during this internship?
I can answer that. I was surprised how much I procrastinated, to be honest, because during the school year, I felt pretty on top of my work. But here, I felt kind of scared to face the consequences of my own actions, I guess. So I was just trying to avoid that by procrastinating. I got on top of it eventually, though, as you guys can see.
Brian really said something that made me realize something about myself that I really didn't notice. He was talking about before we got started on our final project, he said something about along the lines that we have a project that you're doing and you get caught up on it, like not working on it because you're just too busy thinking about it. It was something, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it's like stuck with me because I realized it was so true, and I find myself doing that a lot where I have such high expectations for a project and I just want it to be so good that I end up overthinking things and I end up not working on it, and rather than getting started on it, I just end up procrastinating and not working on it at all. And that's something that I find really true in myself.
I'll go. There's something that I didn't realize was then I could at least create a film. I always thought that film was very complex, and well, I still managed to create a film, that was decent. So I'm pretty happy about that. So at least that's something I learned. So I can make a film by myself. That's something I kind of realized.
I can go next. I'm surprised that I even did this internship at all because I'm very shy and I'm just very anxious. I hate public speaking, talking to new people. So even just in the beginning, turning on my camera and talking to like the 5 other students that were in the room was very terrifying for me. So it was surprising that I just did this in the first place. I'm happy I did. It just was kind of a lot.
June, I'm still working on convincing Ariela that public speaking is her secret superpower.
Truly, no one would know if you had any of that because it's so smooth and it's so way to push through and to go outside of your comfort zone because you really being here and showing up is huge. So thank you for that. Anyone else? Something that surprised you about yourself?
I think I could go next. I think what surprised me the most was adapting to so many different computer skills like Adobe Premiere, Adobe Rush. I was really surprised on how much I could handle and like challenge myself in that aspect. And I'm really happy with the ending of it, my short film.
I know, I just want to remind everyone, it was 4 weeks. It was a lot. You learned. So I'm just curious, Michelle, how much experience did you have with Adobe before this internship?
I had no experience whatsoever. I never worked with it. I heard of it, but I just never worked with it before.
Right. And which ones did you end up using?
I use Adobe Premiere and Adobe Rush and then iMovie.
It's amazing. Those are definitely programs that we know folks in industry are looking for. And so for you to have that, and also to your district made that available. So Downey Unified has just been a huge champion of having young people have access to these kinds of programs. And so that was also another component of this. And so thanks, Brian, for definitely having them use it in a way that made sense for their projects. Someone else want to share something that surprised you? Karen, is it okay if I call on you?
Yeah, sorry. What was the question? Sorry, my
I was
Wi-Fi.
just curious, what surprised you about you during this internship?
For me, what surprised me was actually getting to like speak to new people I've never spoken to before, because as I said before, like I'm not usually one to do that. So I was really surprised that I was able to like do that, like same thing like with even like turning my camera on. That's like not very easy for me, but I'm glad I got to get that experience. And yeah, so I got to speak with a lot of really nice and supportive people. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you. Yeah, Jolie, do you have something you'd like to share?
I think something that surprised me about myself was like how enjoyable the process was. Like when I think of internship, I think like I'm gonna be doing work for a company, but this was like doing my own work, and I gotta insert like myself into it. So I think that's kind of surprising.
That's true. I was expecting like this thing to be like, go get me a cup of coffee or something like that. Like
There are those jobs, and this is not one of them. So this one is an internship that's intended to have you have your voice in the experience. And so by design, it is, because so much of what you bring to the workplace is you. And so for you to have practice in that in this internship was by design. So
Yeah, I'd like to just jump in there and say that if you have never seen or experienced, it's tough to maybe imagine possibilities. And so and I've been saying this, but I'll say it again, like that thing of having the freedom to operate in a workspace is what you guys should be like pushing for in your life. And whether it takes going through the university or getting the credential or getting this thing or that thing so that you can get to that point, that's where we want to see you guys. Not being the person that's grabbing somebody else's coffee. It's doing this where it's like it's my work, my voice, and it matters to the world.
is there someone else who'd like to share? It'd be great if you could each answer this question, because it's really something that we're curious about. So Alan, I'm going to call on you next.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, I'd say that something that surprised me was that I actually, even though I did talk about in my presentation like motivation and time management, I felt like I was actually on top of things, because I was like each time I finished a draft, each time I finished it, I was like, oh, I actually did it like in a good time, like in a good span of time. I felt good about it, which was really fun actually. Yeah.
It is fun. That's the other part. We want work to be fun. How about Vanessa, did you share?
Yeah, I did.
yeah, she was the first one to share.
Oh yeah, Brandon.
Something that surprised me about this internship was honestly just being even able to conduct Adobe, I guess. It's just, I don't usually use those kind of things because they just look really scary. But I think by just using it and just getting comfortable with it, I was able to learn new things. And thank gosh YouTube exists, because I found so many cool transitions that I could use on the video. So honestly, now I feel more comfortable in just doing all my videos instead on the Adobe instead of phone apps, I guess.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks everyone for sharing.
I have, and I know we're coming up on time, but I'm curious about something, June. If
It's okay.
if this could have been in person, what is like a thing that you would have wanted to do as a group together, or even in small teams? Like what's an environmentally pointed a piece of work that you would have been curious to try or experience?
Oh, you can go first.
Okay. I think it would have been cool to like do like, like a OG like beach cleanup or something as a group, but like of course with COVID and stuff, who knows how we would have done that. But I think that would have been really cool, like just something for the environment, hands-on.
Yeah, I agree with Jolie. I would have liked to have some like field work or some like probably like participate in some research in some way.
Yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
I was just going to say real quick, the city of Downey has a monthly cleanup called Keep Downey Beautiful. If you guys want to ever, check that out, I think it's in the Patriot sometimes. It's once a month and it's for an hour in the morning. And, you clean up your own city and there's a lot to clean up. I'm sorry to say.
That sounds really interesting. Thank you for letting me know about that. I had no idea that there was something like that in Downey.
Oh yeah, it's called Keep Downey Beautiful.
I just am going to say this. There's an interesting idea there, Nancy, because I've been thinking about like, how do we wrap this up? And maybe it is bugging all these guys that we could all meet at this public event and do that. And I could drive up for the day.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Trying to find the next time. I don't see it right now.
I can see how tall they are. I don't know how tall they are. Who's tall and who's not.
It's so true. It's so interesting to meet people finally in person. And so it would be, again, Brian and I have talked about this many times, and all of us here who work on these deep dives and in this internship is we really intend for the relationships and the connections to continue beyond the internship, because it really is about the relationships and the community that we build. So we really look forward to staying connected with all of you, and for any way we could support whatever next step you choose, whether it be your next internship, your next job, whether it be that you are seniors looking for the recommendation for your college applications. So please do stay connected with us. And we do have a celebration on Friday, and actually Brian's going to be leading part of it. And we do ask that you bring some component to share on our Miro board. So we're going to be asking you to leave your mark with us on a virtual wall, essentially. So yeah. Other things, Brian, before we wrap up? Or John or Nancy or anyone?
No, I'm real proud of everything you guys have done and shown and learned, and procrastination, I'll raise my hand. I'm kind of bad at that sometimes. I'll certainly divert myself to something else because I don't want to finish this thing over here that's too hard. So, I'm just very proud of all of you. I think you did a great job in learning new skills, and I hope you take what you learned forward. I know many of you talked about that, and I just think it's wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thoroughly impressed.
In June, we wrap up often with just a final word. So if you don't mind, I want to go around and just hear from. So
yes, thanks, Brian. Yes.
Keeping it short, a word or maybe a couple of words. Now that you guys have wrapped this up, you have presented. Where is your headspace? How are you feeling? And I'm just going to call on you for time's sake, and just go by the order of the boxes. So Jacob.
I feel great. I'm really glad that I managed to go through my presentation without messing things up. Thing was like thinking about the presentation ever since last week. I couldn't focus on anything without like freaking out every time I would think about it. So I'm just finally glad that I passed that and that I didn't do bad. So yeah.
Daniel.
Single word. Relaxed.
Well chosen. Vanessa.
Better than expected.
All right. Karen.
I would say it was very awesome to do. I'm very excited, and I feel like everyone did so well in the presentation, so I'm really proud of everyone.
Brandon.
Um, so I do feel a little incomplete. I do want to show you the video, the movie, the film. It's like I've been working on it, and I really want to show you, and I just want to show you my work. So I'll get you that film right away.
Oh, we're gonna get it done. Yeah, we're gonna get it on our website, my man. Right. Alan.
I'd probably say I'm relieved because I feel like I'm proud of what I did here, and I have some friends in this deep dive, so I'm proud of what they did here too. They did pretty awesome. So
Cool, Michelle.
I'm very happy because not only did I learn skills throughout the internship, but I learned so many things like from me. Like I'm very confident and I'm determined to get things done even if I'm not familiar with the program.
Ariela.
I'm just happy I did it. I think I would have regretted it if I didn't, and I'm just happy I did.
And Jolie, take us home.
Yeah, I feel really relieved and I feel confident in like the way my presentation went. So
Well, with that, thank you, everyone. I'm going to turn off the live.